you start.
All right, everybody, welcome back. The Durmanhoth News Network is bringing you to Day 4, Alien Day of IAE 2952. Today with me, I have Gibbles and his creepy horror bear head, and we're going to go look at some alien ships. And again, this golden armor is brought to you by overspending. Hopefully next year, the middle of this hall will have the Banu Merchantman, which everybody has been waiting for. And because of that ship, it has pushed my Polaris off in production, but I don't hold grudges. Maybe I do. Anyway, this is what we got. It looks like everything is up here. Oh, nope, and there's a hollow, so the Banu will be downstairs. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. All right, on top we have to the left is your Banu Defender. To the right-hand side we have the Vandal Blade. In the back we have the Cartual. We have the Glaive. In the middle we have the Prowler, and it looks like we have both Talons in the back. So let's take a look here. This is the Banu Defender. This ship is supposed to be usable for the Banu Merchantman as its defender. And there is supposed to be, I believe, a place for it to park in the Banu Merchantman specifically for this ship. Cool thing about the alien ships, especially in the Banu ones, is the Banu are very organic, and you can see the organic nature to its architecture, which is pretty cool.
I got some weird seats in this.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this thing flies like the Cloud City fighter in Star Wars, where there's two people on each side of it. I'd have to check. Do you have a seat on your side?
Yes.
A little crowded in here. These look like the beds. Yep. The Defender has sleeping quarters. Wow, I don't know why it turns so damn dark.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep, here's the other seat. So this thing flies like the Cloud City fighter in Star Wars. Ship is kind of cool. It's a giant crab-looking of architecture, and when it folds up, it almost looks kind of outstretched. In fact, let me see if renting is working, because it hasn't been. And still no. Thank you, CIG, for another successful implementation.
An error has occurred. What?
Alright, now this is the Vandal Blade. Actually, pretty damn cool looking ship in its own right. I believe it has had a rework already. Don't quote me on that. But this ship is very cool. This is a light fighter. And has red hollow information instead of the usual. What this will not do is that these wings articulate a bit, so when you launch and are airborne and get rid of the landing gear, these wings will rotate back, and so it looks like a giant sharp weapon flying at you. It's very cool. Now a little history with the Glaive. There is only one ship that has actually been captured and sold as Star Citizen lore goes. Um, that would be the... well, no, I've got to think about it. Scythe. Ugh, I don't know why I couldn't think of it. The Vandal Scythe. The only ships that are made are actually Vandal ships, where this is a Vandal blade. It has been manufactured specifically for human use, with Vandal technology being used. So this pilot seat and everything like that is specifically made for humans. Same with the Glaive, which is in the back. We'll get to that. But the Scythe was one of the, I believe it was 200, 300, I can't remember how many, Vandal ships that were captured when a King ship was disabled. Wow. Be right back there, Gib. I just crashed the desktop.
Ouch.
Anyway, they'll tell the lore while I'm waiting to load in. So there was 300, I can't remember the exact total of scythes that were on the King ship. When the King ship was disabled, the UEE was able to take possession of those ships, and to help offset the war efforts, they sold them to private owners, and the private owners have actual, real video game, real Vandal ships that have been converted to be able to be used by humans. So obviously the difference in that would be the Glaive and the Blade are made like Vandal ships, have never had a Vandal in them, have never been manufactured by the Vandal, and have never been flown by them. Whereas the Scythe is a Vandal ship manufactured by the Vandal, used in Vandal combat, flown by Vandal, converted to be able to have a human be inside and fly it. So that's the difference. So it's a little bit cool. I wanted to get a Scythe, but I have problems with asymmetrical things. I just can't stand the look. Oh my God, it put me all the way in the medical bed. It's going to take me a minute to get back over there.
Why the hell did you do that? Yeah, hopefully you got your clothing still.
Yeah, it's CIG. What do you want? Anyway, so the Scythe is a special limited edition hull that you cannot buy anymore. Now, a few people have the Blade. Again, that's a light fighter, kind of akin to the Gladius and the Arrow types. And the Glaive and the Scythe, I think, are classed medium fighters, medium to large fighter. The neat thing about all the Vandal ships is it has all the red MFDs, so all the text is in red, the targeting is in red, looks kind of cool, sinister. The Vandal are less organic looking and more kind of Reaver looking, if you've ever watched Firefly, that stuff. It's very cool ships. And the glaive itself is getting a rework. I'll do a walkthrough with the glaive because when it opens up it looks just deadly majestic, and so we'll do a walkthrough and a tour of that ship specifically. And I believe Solda has a blade, so we'll take that to flight. But I don't know anybody that has a scythe, and the difference between the glaive and the scythe. And I'll say that while I'm floating up the train tube here, is like if you see the blade, it had two giant wings that rotate back while in flight. The glaive has two bigger wings that rotate back in flight, whereas the scythe has one side of the ship has a wing, I believe it's the left, and then the right side is just a laser. Kind of like the wing got amputated and they just plugged a laser in its place. So again, not necessarily my look taste. As a collector, I really want the scythe, but I just can't bring myself to use it. I don't like the asymmetrical look to it. But for those of you that are collectors, it is a limited hull. You cannot get them anymore. So that would be an eBay situation if you were to do that type of a thing. Or a Reddit for the gray market. Alright, I am back to the elevators, going to the Zenith Hall. Here are the dates and who's where, so if you're coming you can take a look.
I see a hardware.
I'm a-coming, I'm a-coming. Alright, so we have the Banu Defender, which is kind of a medium fighter, medium to large fighter, with habitation on the inside. We have the Vandal Blade, which is a light fighter, single seat. In the middle here we have the Prowler. Probably, it's not that I don't like the alien ships, I do, I just have only one of them. I'm a Valkyrie owner. I love the Valkyrie as a dropship. It's beyond cool. But the Prowler is ridiculously menacing.
These just look too weird to me, these alien ships.
Yeah, they do. But there's just something about them that just, I don't know, it definitely carries a cool factor with a few of these. Alright, so I don't know all the ins and outs. Again, Solda has a Prowler, and maybe we'll do a walkthrough since these seem to be not rentable. I'll have to check the terminal there later. But so this whole middle section here closes up, and it's a solid hull. You can open it like a back door, and through each one of these pockets, you can see seats. So where on a human ship, everybody would be seated in a seat pretty much up against the wall. The Prowler has a drop kind of deployment method where these seats are here, these doors will open, and your special forces will be deployed singly through each of their own doors, which is pretty cool.
I'm sitting right now.
Which side of the ship are you on? Never mind, I just ran up the butt.
Now, when I went to my terminal to get here, it listed all the ships on the terminal already as being unusable. So I don't know if they do that automatically or is maybe that's why we're getting an error.
Oh, maybe. These 4 seats back here that are not seats, they're wall hangers. Over here having a coughing fit. So these are wall supports. You'll walk, stand up, and you'll be deployed from here instead of a fast jump out. Yeah, weapon racks. So the ramp comes down from the back. You run up into its butt. And that's where all the people get deployed from. I am not 100% sure if these side doors open up to go into. We'll try it. And then the cool thing you'll see in the cockpit is that there is no glass. There is actually no visual way to look out of this ship when you're flying. It is all done by, I believe, something like thousands of micro cameras that are done in the front. So when you sit down as the pilot, you're not technically looking out of a window. You're looking at a giant computer screen, and all the cameras are showing you what's on the outside of the Prowler, which is supposed to give you more armor and this better look. So if you notice, there is no glass whatsoever, no specific way that a person or the Tavaran could look out the front of this ship. Alright, now if you look around a little bit here, you can see that this is all small triangles. And then if you power this up, I am not seeing it. There's a way to do it. Apparently I'm not doing it right. Alright, so I'll have to sell this ship and learn how to do it. This is not my ship, so I'm not sure how to activate it. But this entire cabin area right here, all these triangles, there's a computer screen. So it's giving you the look of looking outside while you're not technically looking outside. And when you look inside, it almost, oh, here's some more against the walls. You can deploy a lot of people here. This is very skeletal looking. With the red, almost looks like guts, that you're in the stomach of this giant bird. I think they did a really cool job on crafting this. This is an elevator, or not an elevator, but I believe this is the stairs, or a ladder going up. I actually found that on accident one time, and I learned about that there was an upstairs. And up here you have components, I'm sure will go in these, and then a turret seat. Oh, we were going to try to go out the side here. Let me see if that can happen. And it does. Oh, so it looks like it doesn't stay down. Or maybe that's what the open the ladder would do. It would stay down, but you do have exits and exits on the side to climb down. You have the Special Forces seats where you can jump out, and then obviously you can run out the back. The biggest problem for this ship, now this is a stealth ship, This is you fly in and they won't see your ship on the radar, or at least not easily. The reasoning behind these wings here, if you see, is for shielding. So when you get out of the prowler, this is supposed to come down all the way. That's kind of weird. Unless I'm wrong when they changed it. But you're supposed to be able to use this to do some pew pew pew, pew pew pew, and then advance, and you have some protection when being deployed. If I remember correctly, this is the fourth. So yes, if that wing is down, the fourth person jumping out is covered by this. So, long sniper fire will not take them out. It's kind of a cool thought process to go behind all that. We'll go over to the glaive in a second because that's mine. We have here the Talon and the Shrike. The Talon is green. The Shrike is purple. The Talon is the fighter with lots of pew-pew, whereas the Shrike has a lot of missiles. And when I say a lot of missiles for a small light aircraft, it has a lot of missiles. I think it's like 24. Again, we'll do more in-depth because I still haven't done them yet, and definitely want to. So we'll do some in-depth tours of some of these ships, and I'll do an Urkel readout because sometimes these things change. I do not own a Talon or a Shrike, although because of our clan colors, I almost did get a Shrike just because of all the purple. These things look amazing. They honestly do. Not my ship taste as far as looking like a bird, but they're cool. And again, we have no visibility out the cockpit. It is all armored. But on the inside armor turns into a giant TV, so it's like you're looking outside through glass, but you're behind armor. And let's see if we can see. That is a missile port, it looks like right there. There should be another one on the, yep, there it is. And these things are single fed, so I believe you can shoot 2 at a time. And then those tubes are reloaded. Or can you shoot now? I'll get more accurate information on that, but this is the missile boat. The other one is the fighter. As you can see, it only has a couple little danglies right there, but the ports are closed for other internals. This is mine. This is the glaive. Now, if anything looks like a Reaver ship, when this thing is in flight, this is amazing. It honestly is amazing. I wish you could customize the firepower a little bit, though I understand why you can't. Hopefully down the road, when we have the Endeavor and you can do the industrial rings on it, or another ship, or if we have buildings for cities that can upgrade your loadout as it is, then these will be better. They do slap hard. It's just, I think the firing rate of them isn't the best, and there's not a lot of extras you can do with the stuff. But this ship is amazing. Honestly, amazing ship. Get into it like the Blade. Kind of the chin comes down, jump in. Now when you're looking at this ship, those side wings fold down, and these all rock back a little bit. And when it lands, these fold up, and then the wings kind of fold forward. GeForce experience issue today. I don't know why this stuff keeps popping up. There we go.
You have blue icons everywhere?
Do I what?
You have blue icons everywhere?
Blue icons? No.
Yeah, I have blue circles everywhere. I tried to buy some food and water. The thing's broken too, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I just drank all mine. I just noticed I'm getting hungry too. Alright, so that's the flyyables. We're going to go downstairs to the hollow. I'm assuming, well, they should have the Knoxes downstairs, probably the quad, and then the Banu Merchantmen, so we'll see what we got downstairs.
Yeah, I don't see the merchant. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the Merchantman's going to be in the display hall, the hollow. Alright, so here's all the Knoxes. The Knox Q, they do the same thing that they did with Drake. All the same Knox. Makes no sense to me. CIG, you fumbling. Fumbling a little bit. Anyway, there is a Knox Q, which is more of a white version. And then there is the Knox, which is more of the black version. Those are the differences for these. These are actually pretty cool, and you can jump them, and then they float down without crashing. It's kind of a cool little speeder. Alright, now we will wander into the hollow hall. I believe... Oh, why? So these are the Cartuals, which are flyable. I don't know why these would not be on the floor. The Cartual is crazy ship. In fact, Solda has that one. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, Solda has a lot of the alien ships. But this is in flight, where it's kind of, you know what else we're missing? We're missing the Galen, so that's got to be in one of the other ones. Anyway, these things fold back, and it, like, lands very weird, where that circular thing in the middle is the cockpit, and it kind of, like, folds backward. It's really hard to explain. We'll show you on a ship tour.
I can fit a half a dozen of these on just one of my ships.
Yep. These things are kind of neat, and they do fold up to be kind of less spread out, so that's kind of cool. Not my cup of tea, but definitely fun to play with, for sure. That's the Merchantman. We'll come back to that. Alright, here's the Gatac Raylan. So this is the Xi'an cargo ship. The pictures of this ship never do it justice, because this ship seems extremely sizable. And with the cargo refactor and everything coming in, maybe it will get bigger. But the spread on this ship is really cool. I almost grabbed one. Again, the alien ships are not necessarily my cup of tea, but this was just cool enough to almost want to get one. I just did not. I don't know anybody with a Raylan, so I will try to get a working terminal, since renting... oh, I'm sorry, the Raylans you can't rent yet. They're not flyable, right? That was the Cartual. So these are technically not out yet, so there will be no renting of these. Let's go take a look at the Merchantman. Now this is almost done.
Yeah, I can't wait to play with this.
Got my Captain Jack pose going. So the Merchantman is a little Star Citizen lore on the Merchantman. The Merchantman ships are kind of the way that the Banu show their wealth and status. And these ships get passed down like we would pass down, you know, a 57 Chevy and a Bel Air and, you know, the original Trans Ams, stuff like that. So when the head of the family dies, the ship is gifted down to the family, and the rest of the family works on it, uses it, and these are their major cargo shopping malls.
Where do you enter into these things with the ship?
As far as I understand, the big thing that hangs down like a wiener is the landing gear, and then right above that should be a ramp that comes down.
So you don't enter it. So this got to be physically underground then?
I want to say it. I mean, there is an area for the Banu Defender to park. I'm assuming in the top. I actually got this ship last time around, so I wasn't gonna, but did, just because this ship has grown exponentially, and this looks amazing with how they've made the interior, so I said hell with it and got one. There is an area for the Banu Defender to park, but I believe that's it. I think this is you go down to the ground, set off the beacon, let everybody know the mall is open, and then the NPCs, which is also a cool factor for the game, that about if you are a person that likes to sell stuff, they are guesstimating 80 to 90% of your sales will be NPC driven. So it isn't going to be you set up shop and you hope Bob flies by, notices your ship mall, and comes and buys a laser gun and then takes off, and you don't see another person for months. When you land on a planet and you activate your beacon, whether it's with the Privateer, Kraken, or the Banu Merchantman, the NPCs in the area will be alerted as well as humans, players, and will go to these shops and shop and buy. And so you will have a source of income, because you can sell, when you do bunker missions, 50 handguns, and there will be NPCs that will buy that. You can go buy Quantanium or go mine Quantanium and have it stored, and people can buy that. So it's kind of a cool idea that the NPCs will actually be buying your stuff, I get, as well as humans. So that is the Banu Merchantman. More on that probably first or second quarter of next year. They were supposed to be wrapping it up, and they were projecting it in December, I think a year ago. I might be lying, but I think that's what they were talking about. Obviously, that's not happening. So much got delayed this year. It's sad, but they have added so much content as well that the game is starting to become a game now, which is great. So Banu Merchantman is not my main source of revenue or interest, so I'm not overly upset. I want the damn thing done because the Polaris was supposed to be built after the Carrack, and they pushed the Polaris back for the Banu Merchantman. So as soon as this dumb ship is done, my Polaris will be built, and I will be about as happy as I'll ever be until the Idris is released, when I can fly that. The Polaris will pretty much be a daily mission driver as far as I'm concerned. So there you have Alien Week, brought to you by the Durmanhoth Clan News Network, myself and Gibbles. Thank you for watching, and we will see you for day 5. Have a good one.